up here in the top position of Oxide, he is Trap. And his opponent. Down here in the bottom, he is Time. So, funny thing is, TY was actually invited. He was one of the invited players to the tournament, but he did decline. I don't know his exact reasoning for it, however. Probably a bit of a schedule mismatch. He was probably playing in something else, or he just didn't want to play in this one. This one, the main event is going to be going on next week on the 27th through the 29th. And yeah, the top 2 qualifier from this qualifier will advance. The top 3 from Europe advance, and I think it's top 2 from North America as well. Now, nothing too much going to be happening here in the early game. From the looks of it, Time not going to be pumping out any Hellions. We might see that Widow Mine drop, which is kind of the go-to for Terran players trying to get that early damage in. And, I mean, Trap is going to be a little bit cheeky here, getting that early Twilight Council. Now, what that will allow him to do is kind of transition into either Blink, or he can get Adept Glaives, which I've seen a couple of times recently. Or even, you know, the craziest play of all, DTs. So yeah, it is just going to be a pretty standard Blink opening here. What this can really allow you to do is get that early pressure in, a little bit of damage, but it's not really ever enough to kill your opponent. But it does keep you safe against any sort of counterplay, because there's a lot of issues with pickoffs. You can get a couple of cheeky kills, destroy the Marauders, and then back out without really losing too much on the ground as a Trap. Now, it does look like Time was kind of gearing up for that Oracle play. He got the early Cyclone, so not really being able to get a full read on the situation. Did he actually get in the base at any point? He did not. So he doesn't see that it is Blink, so the Siege Tank going to be a little bit delayed. It will be out in time, however, as Trap not moving out just yet. He's waiting for potentially a Warp Prism or that Observer to finish. Well, thank you, Easy42069. Like, we really appreciate you guys coming out. So now Trap going to be doing his first kind of move out. Right now it's just to kind of keep some pressure away from the third base, but now he's going to be sending a small hit squad, which will be able to get into the base. And Time not really in position just yet, but he will have Stim very early on. He will have the Siege Tank at the top of the ramp. Not sieged up, but you don't really need it to be versus this small amount. And behind this, Time actually going to be going for a very powerful push. I don't know why he did that. Oh no, the Siege Tank almost going down there. The Stalker's one Stalker short of getting that kill. But now Trap is in a kind of position where he can kind of slow down this push. He's in the back with those stalkers, so he can pick off the reinforcements. The Immortals, however, gonna fall relatively rapidly, and the stim up the ramp is just gonna depower a lot of these buildings. Probe's gonna be pulled toward the defense. The wall is complete, but now Time just gonna siege right up in the natural, and that is gonna clean up Trap. Excuse me a second. So while Trap does live to see another day, it's going to be a little bit of a meager existence as 17 workers going down in that attack. And now Time, off the back of this, is going up to that third base. He's got the Marauders, the Combat Shield, and a big, healthy dose of Marines on the way. So Trap can't really counterattack here. Behind this, though, Trap is going to do a win behind Dark Shrine, the classic rhyming scheme for Protoss, while Time going to be going for this big drop. And, I mean, a lot of the forces of Trap are out of position, like completely out of their league. And, I mean, for right now, this is going to be pretty dicey for the defense. He's on cooldown for a lot of these warp gates, so he's not going to be able to warp into defend until just now. Scan going to go down to reveal the amount of forces, and I mean, Time just feels like he can fight this. And as I say that, he leaves. But not for very long, as now he's just going to reinforce his position. A bit of an interesting one here. Those siege tanks not really going to be in range of too much. Just a couple of gateways right there. But this is going to give Time a lot of staying power right here. And actually, if he can kill off those gateways, that's a lot of production gone. A couple of DTs is being warped in on the other side of the map with this. A couple of scans going to be forced down on that. And the DT going to be cleaning up house here. So a little bit of a faulting step here for Time, but he's still double the army supply right now. Even though he's losing these workers, he's not really too far behind because he has the mules. And plus he does have that third base, so a lot of scans available to him. A little bit late on that one. But now Trap kind of just trickling these DTs out, trying to force out as many scans as possible. Remember, with every scan, that's 250 minerals that Time will not be getting. But here in the front, is there enough for Trap to keep going? DT in the back are going to be cleaning up those siege tanks. The Immortal going to be going to town on the Marauders in the front. There's still quite a bit of bio with this, and Trap falling below 100 supply. Going to have to rely on those shield batteries to stay in it. I don't think it's going to be enough, however, as that finishes up. Or that is really going to be it for Trap's army, and I think we will be seeing the tap out in just a second. And there you have it. Yeah, so small mistakes there from Trap kind of cost him that game. You know, Time, I don't want to say that was sorry, so much passion right now that I'm getting choked up at Time's victory. But yeah, Trap made a couple of mistakes there. He got a little bit blind countered. He wasn't really able to get too much done with the blink either. He was set up to clean up reinforcements with those stalkers in the back, but that was a lot of his supply that just wasn't there for the first big push. He lost quite a bit. And, you know, when he lost that much, he was really just kind of struggling to get back ahead. He went for the Hail Mary, got the DTs, did some good damage. But in the end, Time was just able to overpower him with his macro. And, you know, that's saying something because Trap is, you know, Trap is one of the ones holding down the line. Protoss have had a pretty hard year, all things considered. It's been Trap who's kind of been propping them up with some very good tournament victories, kind of cementing himself forward there. And, I mean, you know, he's not the Shield of Ire because that goes to, I believe, Stats. But if Stats is the shield, then he is the sword. And speaking of swords, up here we've got the tip of one. He is Trap. And his opponent down here in the bottom, he is Time. Okay. So Trap has a bunch of different builds that he kind of pulls out. I think the big thing about a lot of these Koreans is they do really prepare for the map, and they have certain builds that are kind of cookie cutter, but they really do work for them. So it's an if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of deal. But you know, I think Oxide is one of the, or Pillars of Gold rather, is one of those maps where you really just have a lot of room to macro up. The third base is a little bit farther away from your opponent, so it's a bit safer. And just overall, I think we are going to be seeing a little bit of a longer game here, even though we have seen for quite a long time, Terrans just really do prefer that kind of two-base push. A lot of siege tanks, a lot of locations, kind of just trying to kill their opponent early on. I'm hoping this is another good one, though. Like, so far we've only been seeing good games out of players, even though this is like, I think only the third series that we've watched. That's kind of funny to think about, since we have been live for about 2 hours. Reaper going to be jumping around. There is no wall off, so he will be able to get in. Good cancel right there. Does not want to get caught off guard. And again, Trap's going to be going for a tried and true method. He's got Blink. He's going to be... I think with this, he's got to be a little bit more aggressive, and he might actually be proxying a Dark Shrine with this. I'll have to see. I'm kind of going to... There it is. Okay, so Trap is going to go balls to the wall in this game. He's down one, and it is a best of 3, so he's always on match point from here on out, whether it's his or his opponent's. And really, Time just has to recognize this. He's going for something a lot of Terran players have been kind of transitioning towards, getting those early Hellions, trying to push through the wall, since a lot of Protoss don't really block this off. And behind it, he's got Stim. He's got that Marine production off the 2-1-1. And so he's looking to get some damage done very early. Keep in mind, you do need 3 Hellions to one-shot the probes. The Reaper going to help out a little bit. Good blocks so far. Not going to get really too much damage done. And the dive does falter right there. So what does this mean for Time? It means he's pushed back a little bit. He still has good production. Like I was saying, he's pumping out 3 Marines at a time. But now here come the DTs. The engineering bay just now starting. And Time has no idea this is coming yet. He just dropped the last mule. He has no scans. Oh my goodness, this is about to be bad. So bad, in fact, that he just taps out. Trap went for broke on that one. That was a very dicey build for him. But, hey, it worked. So we got to hop into game number 3 here. Who is going to take it and who is going to fall to the lower stages? So Dark Creator did finish, but the results haven't updated yet. It's kind of funny because Trap just put the lobby link and Time just put the lobby link, and obviously they're in 2 different languages. So it's Koreans for Trap and then Chinese for Times. Yeah, just kind of keeping up with the results. Looks like Rex is going to be taking on Armani. Ragnarok's still waiting for opponent, so I think he's waiting for Creator, because Creator did fall to Dark. Or they might be playing already. It's hard to tell. You can only kind of tell because you're looking for the players in the chat, and if you don't see them, you know they're in game. But anyway, speaking of being about in game, here on match point is our red Protoss Phenom, the Sword of Ire. He is Trap. And his opponent, up here in the top, he is our blue Terran, who is running out of time. As in, he wants to finish this game quick. I don't know if that's exactly what he wants to do, but I think that's going to be his strategy on this one. Death Aura really lends itself to some of those early siege tanks pressures. This ramp is actually a pretty good location to siege up on. Get that aggressive, get that really aggressive positioning there. Really hard to deal with as the Protoss player. Now, nothing too crazy to start things off. Just nice and simple openings. This time he is going to wall because we saw the Hellions in the last game. But he doesn't actually get the CC deny. Epic. Now, I'm not expecting a Twilight Council on this one. Knowing the caster curse, he is going to throw down a Twilight Council, but I think this map lends itself a little bit better to Stargate play. As just a lot of really wide opening positions near the first couple of bases. And yeah, there you go. Twilight Council. Yeah, that was a blink if you miss it kind of game. Yeah, okay, so he's going for Twilight again. I doubt this will be DTs. If you do it twice, shame on Terran. If you do it 3 times, then shame on you, because you're a very dirty Protoss. And I love that about you sometimes, Trap. You can be the dirtiest Protoss or you can be the cleanest one, but either way, you're going for gold. But it is just gonna be Blink. This time the Reaper does get in and he gets the Scout, which was kind of his problem in the last couple of games. He wasn't really able to get in. He wasn't really able to get in and get that information. Just a nice confirm for him. Not too many differences. I do think Time is one of the top Terrans in his region. I don't know his Aligulak rating, but he has been getting some really amazing wins recently versus very powerful players. And I think overall, if he just refines a couple of things, which I couldn't really tell you because I'm a little bit lower league than him by a lot, then I think he could really just take on the world a lot better. Now, Trap going to get a very quick transition into that Robo Bay. What that's going to allow him to do is, honestly with this, I'm kind of expecting War Prism speed. Like, I've been seeing a lot of players go for that recently, just getting that War Prism speed to help their attack. It allows you to juggle much more efficiently, especially if you're going to be going for something like Disruptors or Colossus drop even. I've seen that quite a bit in recent months. But yeah, just a lot of different options that it opens up for you to get that speed. Looks like Time actually got a glimpse of that Observer. So he will pick that off. He does not want any information falling into Trap's hands. It's going to be Colossus. But just from the look of things, I think we're going to be seeing a push out pretty soon. Yeah, I would say Byun is also in that rank of top Terrans. I do like your list. Maru and TY are definitely the top two, but I think the third spot could be Byun. Did see that Liberator come in, get a couple of kills before having to back away. So a little bit of first blood there. I don't think that tree is a Protoss unit. This isn't Lord of the Rings. The Ents are not going to be coming after you. Did he actually just... Okay, no, I thought he had killed the Raven. If there even was a Raven. Time. Just being pretty defensive here. He does save the siege tank. So both these guys really just even on this. Looks like Trap wants to be in this kind of soft contained situation. It's got that double prong with the Adepts and the Stalkers on one side. But here we see that 3-base explosion out of Time. He's got the 3 siege tanks. He's got a good smattering of Marauders coming out. All his upgrades starting to sync up and line up. And this is really where it gets difficult for the Protoss army to catch up, because you do need that gateway explosion to keep up. We'll check in on that Liberator in a little bit. A little bit lost there, but he's got the good... He's a little lost, but he's got a good spirit. Trap going to reveal that the army has moved out, sends the Adepts in to get picked off, and is actually just going to try and force the siege up here. Doesn't want to lose too much to those siege tanks fire. This is purely for stalling for time. No pun intended. Yeah, he's just trying to force those siege ups, kind of back up there, get those warpins in the front. There we go, the Liberator finds the base. Gets a couple of workers there. Oh, no doubt, no doubt on that Aligulac rating. But here we go, a very aggressive forward siege tank positioning. Charge has completed, so he's going to try and get right on top of that. Some good focus fire there for time. However, the Stalker's going to be coming around the surround pretty darn nice, but there is still so much bio with this that Trap has to back up. And now he will be able to clean this up. The siege tank getting one more volley off. But overall, it's still very even. If you look at that army size, just that huge drop for both players. Now, what this does allow Trap to do is kind of get that transition in, because he knows time isn't really going to be in a position to push out for a couple of additional minutes. So this is kind of the phase where things start to slow down, and again, we see those transitions. Ghost Academy, Templar Archives, War Prism speed, upgrades. Yeah, actually Cure did lose to Byun, which is pretty interesting. Now time gonna try and reveal the army. Trap's gonna pull that back. Looks like small bit of a timing here, or actually just the drop, the gearing up. The problem with scanning is it kind of reveals to your opponent that you might be pushing that location. And that's something you don't want to do, because StarCraft 2 is a game of information. And so kind of revealing your hand like that is a little bit dicey. Dark Shrine going to be coming down as well, so really just getting everything at this point. There's really no reason not to. But here we go, Trap moving in with a smattering of units. Time will be in a position to defend with these siege tanks, and this does force the army to come home. Unfortunately, in the main base for Trap, he's not going to be able to get anything done. Might even need to recall that War Prism and not lose it. Look at that, the Observer just barely out of...
Base is
I think he actually saw that. Yeah, force fields gonna make those zealots a little bit useless for the time being, but yeah, 17 worker kills, the fourth base goes down, so Trap just gonna start steamrolling his way forward. Even gonna set up a little bit of a run by there. And I'm keen from here. Time wants to keep that pressure onto Trap. He needs to buy himself a little bit more time to build up. The siege tank hurting him more than it's helping. But here we go in the front. EMP is going to drop all over this army. The Colossus a little bit exposed. No force field, so Time will be able to push up this ramp. But the Disruptor's going to force him back. It's almost now or never for him right now as he's dropped so many workers. His economy nowhere near where he wants it anymore. But he will get a kill on the fourth or third. And just back up from there. So equal damage, and now Time is looking a lot better. Now Trap, who has to kind of react to this. There's enough reinforcements back at home to defend this push out, and Time not going to retreat. He doesn't have that much energy left on these medevacts, so he does need to be careful about when he stims. But getting a kill on that base is pretty nice, taking out the DTs back at home. And he's going to be able to clean up a lot of this army with the splash. Yeah, there we go. He goes straight for the main base. A couple of pylons going down. The Robo facility gonna fall. The Disruptors gonna do what they can, forcing a recall. But now Time can just get on out of there. So Trap really struggling to get his head together and get back into this one, as Time all over him everywhere. Yeah, I hope Cyril makes it to easy 420. All right, looks like Trap is just going to leave those Disruptors at home and send the rest of the army out in the middle of the map, but they are kind of meddling right there. Not too much going on for him. A big warp-in on the main base, but this is just going to prompt the Time to go for the big drop into the main. So at this point, Time, he's a little bit supply blocked, but his reinforcements are really keeping this together, even though he's going to lose the third base as well. I just don't really know what Trap can do in this situation. He's down over 50 supply. An okay connection right there, and he's going to force the defensive warp-ins, but still, like, he's not really able to get efficient trades on the other side of the map. I'm still at 108 army supply. And now the Disruptors losing a lot of their utility as they all fall before they can even get their shots off. Colossus is going to wail away in the back, but now Time can just engage in another position now that he knows that is gone. And with +3 armor finishing up, this is going to be the last huzzah of Trap, as he will be dropping to the lower brackets. I don't think he can really fight this anymore. There's like 1 DT with this army. Enough scans to go around. And this base is gonna fall. Now the Laser Giraffes doing what they can. They do get a good backup, but the reinforcements is just gonna be enough. Time takes the game, takes the series.